Yo,
What's up, dude?
what's
You're
up,
looking
man?
legit too.
Am I legit?
You look legit.
It's a lie.
You look more legit than me. Much better lit.
It's all good, man. Make sure
What's
that
up,
I got
man?
everything. I'm good, man. I'm good. Can you hear me all right?
Yeah. Yeah, I hear you good.
Got my water, got my shit. You got the much better mic though, man. What is that the yeah, that's the upgraded version of mine. So I have like the Shure, but I got like the cheapo $100 version.
Yeah, you got to put some
I
money
want that
into
one.
it.
Dude, that mic is so sweet, man. When I want it like more than anything.
Here, I got another one for you. Here you go.
Hey.
Hey, man, you got to invest. I see you're investing in a studio.
Yeah, man. I try to do it, man. I really was into the whole podcasting thing before I got into TikTok. Like I was like, yo, I'm gonna make this podcasting thing like work 100%. And then like TikTok like just unexpectedly like just gained more traction than any of my podcasts ever did. And I was like, well, shit, this might be the move too. So
Well, you got to do them in tandem. You know, the TikTok will boost your podcast.
facts.
Yeah. That's what I was doing. I had just started the podcast with my girlfriend right before I started TikTok, pretty much right when I guess early or late last year. And I figured it was going to be like 100 episodes before we even got like 500 listeners. You know, that's what I was in it for the long haul. But then I started TikTok and they kind of grew it together. I'm already over 6,000 subscribers on YouTube. So
That's dope,
you know,
dude.
you got to keep it going. And that's what this is I want to start a new podcast because the thing is cool with my girlfriend and we like what we're doing, but there's so much other content I want to put out and there's so much more I need to talk about. And I just find talking to different people, you get different sides of yourself, you get different conversations. And especially with all the drama on TikTok, I'm thinking that's the perfect type of channel for me to build. Just get the haters on, get the fans on, get the friends on. We can just talk all this shit out.
If you're able to get haters on, I think it's easier said than done, man, because even when these people hate on you so much and they have everything in the world to say about you when they're talking into their own phone screen and not directly to you, right? They have all the confidence and bravery in the world, but then the second they're like, hey man, so you have a disagreement with me, why don't you come on my podcast, we'll talk it out. Nah, we don't support transphobes or we don't support whatever. And I'm just like, bruh, so then you're living in your echo chamber, you're not even giving me a chance to actually address what you're saying, you just want to keep on believing that victimhood lie.
Yeah,
so
pretty much. I mean, dude, they get such a false narrative. They watch you on TikTok and they assume this is the content you're putting out. I know everything I know about you as a person. I got you figured out. You're an evil person. It's like, what if I'm totally different in real life?
right,
You know?
it's like, can you imagine like if I'm just different?
I wonder if they think that, are they just exactly who they are on social media and they have no other depth or levels to them?
There's no way because, bro, with the amount of triggeredness that I see on TikTok, more than any app I've ever been on. Like I was big on like, Facebook and Instagram, and you have your triggered people on there. But I have never seen a group of people that are so triggered like I see on TikTok. And I don't see these people like out and about in the real world like when I'm out there. You know what I mean? And especially like when I used to be a Trump supporter, like I would wear my MAGA hat. I'm talking about in Philly, bro. Like in the heart of Philly, like walking around with my MAGA hat. And like I never got all these brave people that are just like, oh yeah, blah 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 blah, like just coming up to you like they will do left and right on TikTok. It's like they don't really do this shit in person, man.
Well, these people aren't in the real world. They're on social media. They grew up on social media. They've never had friends. They've never been invited to a party. They certainly haven't been to a bar to talk to random strangers and try to like be likable and, be accepted in the group. I don't know. Some people have, but I just don't think those are the people who are hating in the comments and getting triggered by everything. It's very hard to keep friends when you just get butthurt by everything somebody says.
I think a big part of it too is that TikTok, at least on the political side of TikTok, I find them to be more Gen Zers, like Zoomers, and Gen Zers, man, and even my own fans that are Gen Zers and Zoomers, they will even admit to, it's like, look, man, I know that my generation is like the worst. It's like my generation, like Zoomers, man, not every individual, okay, not all, but most, like it's just a soft generation, bro. It's just a soft, like I just grew up, I guess, and I'm not saying that millennials, because I'm a millennial, like, and you're a millennial as well. Like, I'm not saying, right.
I never heard this word millennial until I was like 30, though. It's like I didn't grow up thinking I was a millennial. I thought I was Gen X, but
right.
it changes.
It does, but so like, and I know that there are triggered people, triggered millennials 100%. But man, it's almost like this Gen Z, it's almost like they just didn't have a chance, bro. They grew up with social media in their hand from since they were so young. They can't even remember a time without social media. And this
No.
whole striving for perfection, striving for acceptance, like of people you don't even know. Like you don't even know these people, right? And it's just like they feel that they're validated based off of the amount of shares or follows or likes or comments that they have. It's just insane. And of course it's going to, perpetuate like these psychological like disassociations from life.
Yeah. Where do you think this is all going? Like, do you think you think people are going to mature and grow into this, or do you think it's just going to go off the rails?
I don't know, man. I think that I think that new generations are supposed to learn from previous generations. I mean, typically that's how history works. Like millennials learn from like the bad shit that happened with Gen X, and Zoomers are supposed to learn with I mean, they kind of did, like, because millennials, like back, when the internet was when social media was really getting started, I was really about 15, 16, you know what I mean? And I didn't realize, especially when I was like 18, 19, I didn't realize that the internet is forever. Like, I didn't realize that shit then. Like, I was like, oh, this shit stays up here like forever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So,
which is why I'm so thankful that I did not grow up like through puberty or middle school with YouTube or social media. The stupid shit I would have put out there and just embarrassed myself.
Facts.
So I can kind of empathize with them a little bit. It's kind of tough having to grow up being surrounded by social media, especially thinking that's real life and that's how people interact. There's a little bit of empathy there.
I think that social media has its benefits, and I think it's really incredible that you can reach such a wide audience so quickly, and that you can grow a following, and that you can really influence people. I think that it has its benefits, but it is not without its downsides, man. It is not without its downsides.
And I think the problem is like everybody on social media is thinking everything that I see and am exposed to and everything everybody else in the world puts out, I have to agree with, or it has to sit right with me. Otherwise I have to fight against it. And nobody is like recognizing that everybody has a voice and everybody has a perspective, and it's okay to say things that you disagree with. It's okay to say things that piss you off. It's okay. Like not everything is about you. And everybody on TikTok just thinks like, think about the people who are seeing this. Think about the young girls, or think about the young boys, or think about this. It's like, my shit's not for them. I'm sorry that you see it on your For You page. Block it. Say not interested. Move on. You're not my audience. And they think everything that they see specifically has to be for them, or they have to approve it. And that's a strange concept that we never thought growing up on the internet. The internet was a Wild West world, anything went.
Yeah. Yeah. I was just looking at one of my comments, and it was one of the joke videos that I made, and somebody said something like, oh, I didn't laugh, I guess it's not a joke, or something like that. It's like they had to laugh to get the joke. And then I looked at their profile, and this is a person that has to put their pronouns in their profile. And I'm like, just looking and seeing that you have your pronouns in your profile, it's obvious that you are not my target demographic. like I would more so make jokes about you than for you to be laughing at them. Right. So
that's transphobic, bro. You're afraid of a man who wears a dress because you don't like their pronouns.
Right, exactly. And this whole phobia thing, dude, when I was growing up, phobia meant that you have an irrational fear or something, like arachnophobia or whatever. And
or
now,
like even true prejudice or something.
Right.
Just being able to mock a point of view or disagreeing with something doesn't mean you're actually like hateful or prejudiced towards somebody.
Right. I started putting this thing on my TikTok lives now, because you know how people are like, oh, Black Lives Matter, and it's just irrelevant. It's like, okay, cool. And then when other people say all lives matter, they're like, well, we didn't say that only Black Lives Matter. So that is like, okay. So then I'll start saying shit like, okay, black people are racist. I'll just say that random black people are racist. Like, black people are racist? What are you talking about? And I'm like, whoa, hold on. I didn't say only black people are racist.
Yeah.
Black people are racist too. I'm just saying black people are racist.
I love doing this. This is half my content, is just taking something they say and playing with it in reverse. It points out the hypocrisy. And that's when people go nuts and they're like, you're so hateful, or you're all your stuff. And it's like, you don't recognize how stupid your shit sounds to the other side. We're just throwing it in your face. The joke one I had made about how if I didn't laugh, it's not funny. I made several points about that. And one was like, I just did a little skit where it's like, what is this on the counter? Is this food? No, nobody's eating it, so it's not food. Or what's this on the TV? Oh, there's a movie playing? No, it can't be a movie because nobody's watching it. Or what's this playing in my ear? Oh, that's music? No, I don't like it. That's not music. It's like that same theory is what they do with comedy. If I'm not laughing or if nobody's laughing, it's not a joke. And it's like, it is a joke.
Their whole thing is that everything has to be for everyone. I'm like, no, it doesn't. Everything does not have to be for everyone. Every joke does not have to be funny to everyone to be a joke, right?
Especially as subjective as humor is. Everybody knows humor's subjective. And it's like, show me one stand-up comedian or one joke that everybody in the world laughs at. It doesn't exist. There's no such thing. You know? It's crazy. Yeah, I love playing with, there was the Black Lives Matter thing too. Like, you know, there's a lot of posts about that and I'll play with those issues. And of course, I'm the big racist because I have the balls to say some shit they disagree with. But they'll always be like, what was the point that they made about, you can't say all lives matter because all lives includes rapists and murderers and pedophiles. Do they matter? And I'm like, the same thing goes with Black Lives. You think no racists or murderers or pedophiles who are black? Like this, it's the same logic. And you just throw it in their face and they just call you a racist and, you know.
Of course. Dude, I actually wish that I was white like you. I mean, I'm half white. I'm half white, privilege. But people see me as black. So anyway, so like I wish that I was white like you just because I would want to throw this shit in their faces even more. I would want that smoke, man. It's like I just want to show I enjoy showing the hypocrisy of other individuals.
Yeah, that's kind of my whole style too. And then people run with it and assume like, why are you only talking about these issues? Do you care so much? I honestly don't care about any of these. These aren't really political issues that I'm like fighting for. Like, oh, I'm oppressed as a white guy. I just play jokes about that because it's like it shows how stupid you sound when you're just screaming oppression all the time. Right. If you weren't doing that and getting pissed off all the time, I probably wouldn't be talking about this.
Right. Yep. Like, I hate identity politics more than anything. The only reason why I talk about it is because you motherfuckers put this shit all over the internet. So I'm like, okay, so you think that this is a huge deal. Why don't I just go ahead and debunk all of your, like, just bullshit? But I really don't care about, like, I have more important things to talk about, like gun rights and, like, voting rights and, like, all this, like, shit going on, like, right now that, like, getting our country, like, where it needs to be.
Yeah, you're
like,
super political. I mean?
Right. But this whole identity, social shit, it's first of all, it's just not real. Like you're making it real. You're like trying to manifest it into existence, and it's just not real. I
know this idea that like you know, I'll troll on like the LGBTQ issues or you know the blue-haired feminists, whatever, and this idea of we're so oppressed because people don't accept us. People don't, you know, we're not allowed to be ourselves and identify what you want. It's like, did you see anybody with blue hair walking down the street in 1960? No. Did you see anybody with face tattoos? Did you see anybody being openly gay? No. And now nobody even looks twice at you. You go out anywhere in public and you literally could be wearing the most crazy, weird shit and nobody even like bats an eye. We're just like, oh, okay.
Right.
Where's this oppression? Where's this? You're not able to express yourself. Nobody gives a shit.
Bro, not only that, but it's just totally, it's 100% a fucking lie if they actually looked at shit. Dude, when I was looking up, like, you want to talk about things that like the LGBTQ people that can do, it's just insane. So I was looking into like transgenderism and like if they're really oppressed and shit like that. And while looking into that, I uncovered that you can actually change your fucking birth certificate, not your driver's license. You can change your fucking birth certificate that says that you are this sex that you identify as. I'm like, that is the craziest shit I have ever fucking heard. I'm talking about your document that shows how you were born. It's like, nah, I don't really believe that I was born this, so I'm going to change it to the, you can change that legal I was like, bro, that's insane. That's crazy. And you talk about like not having like that's wild.
But they're still oppressed, bro. They're still oppressed because they weren't actually born what they wanted to be born as. And until you just start telling them that they are that and always treat them like that, which honestly, I don't even not do. It's like if you do transition from a man to a woman and you're passable and you seem very feminine, I'm probably not going to sit there and be like, oh, you're a dude. But when you clearly have a beard and you have a Adam's apple and you got a low voice and everything about you screams you're a man, that's the way my brain works, and that's the way my language works. I'm going to call you a dude. Sorry. Right. You better be convincing.
Right.
And isn't it ironic too how like the feminism, the third wave feminism or whatever you want to call it, they're all pushing back on these gender norms of like women are more than their gender role. We don't have to wear dresses. We don't have to wear makeup. We don't have to shave. We don't have to be feminine. We don't have to be beautiful. And then in order to pass as a transgendered woman, you pretty much
you have to do all
wear
those
makeup,
things.
wear dresses, get fake tits. Everything is the stereotypical woman role to sell that they're a woman. And if you do anything less than that, you're not really passable as a woman. And it's like, they don't even agree with themselves. And then other women will say they're real women. It's like, what issues does a trans woman have in general with a real woman other than when they put on makeup and a dress and pretty much a costume, they get treated like a woman by being hit on by men, which is kind of what they wanted and signed up for in the first place. They're not dealing with menstrual cycles. They're not dealing with childbirth. They're not dealing with all the actual biological issues that a woman has to deal with. They're dealing with, I have to put on makeup. I have to put on a dress. And they chose to do that. It's
well, they'll argue that they didn't choose who they are. That's what they'll argue.
Sure.
You know what I mean? They'll argue that whole thing. Like the whole.
I didn't choose to be a sarcastic asshole. I was born this way. So accept me, people.
Right. People, you are what you are and who you come to be. It's not how you are born. So I get even more in depth with this shit. So like a lot of people, even people like conservatives, believe that you start on like a neutral, you kind of start like a neutral point, and through your, vast experiences and things like that, you subconsciously choose whether you are gay or straight. And that's what I believe, kind of. But I also believe that I take it further. I believe that people just start straight, man. And my reasoning behind it is just that, look, every organism on the planet, like we only have two functions, that's survive and to multiply. We could not be like that if we were born gay. We have to be straight in order to continue procreation, right? So I believe that we start there, and then through your, whatever your I'm talking about like who raised you, who didn't raise you, what school you went to, your friends, what movies you watch, what music, just going to that convenience store that one time. Every single experience that you have kind of shapes who you are. It shapes in who the type of people that you like to associate with. It shapes who the people that you're attracted to. It doesn't matter if it's what the gender is. It's just who you are attracted to. So through all of your circumstances and experiences, like you subconsciously make those decisions. I don't believe it's conscious. I don't think people just wake up and is like, oh, well, I want to be trans or I want to be gay. I think it's just subconscious.
Yeah. If everybody could choose, I mean, they'd all choose to be a straight white man like me, obviously.
Right. Dude, you gotta watch that. You gotta watch that one Louis C.K. thing, man. It's the fun. It's like, man, I love being white. It's like, man, if I could choose that shit every year, I'd be like, yeah, let me get that again.
Hey, I never grew up. It's like people actually have this narrative like white people are just walking around like we're better than everybody. I never thought ever about my race ever. But when it's just shoved in your face all the time and everybody tells you I'm oppressed, you're privileged, it's like they think that's going to somehow bring me down. If anything, you're just boosting me up. You're making me feel better than you. So thanks, like, guys.
Damn, I'm a fucking boss.
Dude, I'm lucky as shit. This is awesome. I got the genetic lottery over here. And then you say that and they get super pissed too. I've made jokes about that too. Like how the white privilege, you have to always recognize your privilege and understand your privilege. So I just did like a skit of me walking into a party and just be like, hey, everybody, just so you know, I am a straight white male. If any of you are uncomfortable with my presence, I'm happy to leave because, I can go anywhere in the world and everybody loves me. So it's up to you. I understand you guys are not as privileged as me. And I just pandered to them. And it's like, that's not what we mean by recognizing your privilege, Nick. It's like, yeah, nobody wants to fucking hear. It's pandering. It's condescending to treat people like you're better than them. And that's not what I'm doing. But I like to play that up, kind of lean into their thought process or their.
Well, they'll swear that they're not pandering, but see, their thing, it's not even rooted in fact, it's just rooted in feeling. And then when I've never in my life, man, I've lived in Baltimore City, I've lived in Florida, I've lived I grew up in rat-infested motels, and then I lived in really nice, prestigious neighborhoods. I've lived in just about every walks of life, and I have never faced racism in my life. I'm not saying that it doesn't exist. I'm talking about myself. I have never faced racism in my life until I got into politics and by black people themselves and other like white leftists, right? Saying that I am a pick me, that I am pandering, that by black people calling me a coon and shit. I'm like you guys are like, you are the racist to me. Like there's no other people have been racist.
They just want to accept diversity of thoughts and diversity of opinion as long as it's exactly what they think and what they believe, you know? And then otherwise you're out, man. You're out. Right. And how is it like it's, you know, well, what's your definition of racism though? Like you've never experienced, like even, you know, there's things where it's kind of being redefined. I feel like it's just like, oh, you're rude to a black person, therefore you must be racist. And they just kind of throw that around. I think there is real racism, but I don't think it's the big epidemic like it used to be in the 60s and before that, of course. But like, I don't even know what the definition is anymore. When you just start throwing these words around, you're racist, you're a bigot, you're a homophobe, you're a Nazi, you know, whatever it is. It's like, what does that even mean anymore? At a certain point,
what they want it to mean is just if you disagree with them.
Yeah.
If you disagree with a black person, no matter if it's a racial issue or not, they'll somehow make it into like a racial issue.
Yeah.
If a white guy fires a black person, it's like racial discrimination. It's like, what? Like maybe that black guy just happened to be a fucking asshole or bad at his job. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, why does it have to be racist?
I had put out a tweet like years ago. I'm trying to troll a lot more on Twitter now that I'm starting to get clout. So I got to recycle all these. But I had one point like, not every asshole is a racist. So, or not everybody who's an asshole to you is a racist. Some people are just assholes. And if you think every asshole is a racist, you're an asshole too. You know, everybody is a fucking asshole. And we always, for some reason, we put race as some different type of behavior when really it's just you're a fucking dick. And especially when people do throw around slurs and things like that, which I know I have some controversy on fucking TikTok, which I'd love to get into, but sometimes it's just they are not creative. They're trying to insult you and they just go with the low-hanging fruit of what they know is going to bug you. Kind of like how on TikTok people will say to women like, oh, women aren't funny or get back in the kitchen. Because it's just like an uncreative, low-hanging way to just like dismiss you. And a lot of people are just not creative. They're not witty. So they just go for the easiest thing that they know is going to like dig deep. But if they had some wit, they might insult you in a different way that has nothing to do with the racial slur. And it might even be more effective. But I just look at a lot of that as like, you're just an asshole. You know, it doesn't mean you actually hate this person or you're really judging them on the color of their skin. It just means like, that's all your brain could think of to insult somebody when you were angry at them. You know, and if you're yelling at, how's that much different than like if you're just like arguing with some woman, you're like, you're a fucking bitch, you're a cunt. It's like, wow, okay, they just go to the word that they think is going to like dig deep. And it's just the same shit, but we put it in a different category because it's a racial word. And I understand the context and there's a lot of history behind that. But I often see these examples and it feels like the same behavior. Just somebody who's an asshole trying to get under your skin and goes and is not creative with their insults. You know,
no, that's facts. That's facts. I think that's just kind of how people are, man. People sometimes when they're backed into a corner or when they can't get themselves out of whatever corner that they're in. They just want to do something that's just going to, they really want to say something that's just going to offend you, right? They just want to dig that knife in just a little bit. So yeah, man, like people are just weak.
Yeah, and that's kind of the drama I got in because obviously somebody was recording my live stream on TikTok.
You have to assume that they're always recording you.
I know. Well, I kind of do. Now I actually kind of want to troll them on purpose where I'm going to get them to take something out of context that's so ridiculous, so non-defensible, where like, Nick, there's no context in which this could possibly be okay for you to say, but I will set it up beforehand by telling everybody like, okay, guys, I'm about to say some crazy shit that I don't believe. That's not real. I'm just playing a character. All right. But I want you guys to clip it after I say this part. And then I'll say the part and then you guys spread it far and wide and everybody will spread it and be like, that wasn't a joke. There's no possible way. And then I'll have like the whole clip and be like, oh yeah, look at this. I trolled you guys again into thinking I actually was saying something hateful or, you know, whatever. I'm trying to think of the best way to spin it and what I want to do. But even that alone, it's like people take things out of context and they spread it and then everybody doesn't see the explanation.
Dude, they always take my shit out of context, bro.
I know.
They always take
everybody.
And they always relate it to, and here's why. Because I made a diss track, which I'm sure you should be familiar with.
Maybe.
You haven't listened to it.
I might have.
Dude, the GOAT hasn't listened to my shit.
Let me see. I'm gonna pull it up.
So I had this diss track. It's on my Instagram.
Okay.
So I had this
I
diss
feel like I
track.
did because I kind of remember being involved in some of the drama or like watching some of the drama from it. So
Yeah.
maybe I did see it.
But so I had this diss track and I go to a bunch of leftists and well, the first thing before I make the diss track, I actually put out a video and I was like, I'm gonna make a diss track on leftists. And then I say, and in it I say, okay, and the only stipulation is that they need to be 18 because I don't know exactly where it's gonna go because I get real Eminem-y with my shit. So I was like, it's probably gonna veer off of politics, and depending on what I talk about, like I need them to be over 18.
Then
Okay.
it's going to move into you're sexually harassing a young girl.
Yeah, so then someone reaches out to me and is like, yo, MK, that I'm not Natalie chick is like, you know that she's 18 now. And we had like some unfinished shit because she had said that I was disgusting and I disgusted her. And I never really addressed it because it was like, she said I was a transphobe and shit like that. And that I should be deplatformed and all this shit. I never really addressed it. So like formally. So I was like, okay. So I was like, cool. Yo, I just got info that I'm not Natalie is 18 now. Like, oh boy, this shit on that same video with flames. And I was like, bad. So I'm about to go in on her. And then literally they screenshot this. They took this out and then they put this pedo thing on there. Oh, he's so glad that she's 18. I was like, what? I'm talking about this diss track, motherfucker. Like, what are you
Dude,
talking about?
I know.
And then, she herself put this shit out and put like, Hanson, what was that guy from Hanson? What's the guy from
Chris Hansen?
Yeah, put like Chris Hansen behind it, To Catch a Predator, all this shit. And I'm like, I want to be clear. I had no intention of sexualizing you in this.
That's what they all say,
before,
bro.
But now that you want to take it that way, oh yeah, I'm gonna run the shit into the dirt now.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then I fucking shredded her, bro. Shredded her, and now and she's 18, right? I shredded her, and because I
You
did
mean
that,
like with your jokes or like in bed?
No, man. You gotta get me caught up again.
Out of context, guys.
You gotta get me caught up again, man.
Clip that. Put that all over the TikTok.
So I shred her in this track, and it was so hilarious. Not only that, it's jokes. It's a fucking diss track. It's meant to insult you. It's not meant to respect you in any way, right? It's really meant to like insult you, especially anyone who's ever listened to any fucking Eminem song ever. Like you should know that. So anyway, so now because of that, anything that anyone does, it's like, oh, Tyler likes these underage girls. First of all, I'm not Natalie, wasn't underage. Second, I wasn't liking her or disliking her. It's a fucking
First off, so what, bro? She'll be 18 eventually.
she's 18 somewhere. So anyway, so like
there's laws in it. It depends on her state, you know. Sometimes it's a little younger.
It's like, man, overseas, I mean 14, you know what I mean?
I don't know her nationality. She has her pronouns in her bio, but she doesn't have her nation of origin.
Right. And it's like yo, so hold on, going off topic. I know I'm getting like I'm throwing so many different things at you. But there was a thing a while ago, and I was like, yo, is age fluid too? Because there was this thing like 2 years ago I saw on the news, and it was this like 45-year-old like middle-aged dude, and he sometimes, not even all the time, he's married, by the way, he sometimes identifies as a like 10 or 8-year-old girl with pigtails and wears dresses and shit like that, and it's supposed to be accepted. And I'm sitting here like, okay, this shit is wild. So now just my brain is just really moving now. So I'm like, okay, so wait a minute. So if he's married, you know, to a legal woman or of age woman who's like 40 or something like that too, okay, when he identifies as like a 10-year-old, is that now statutory rape? Like, is that like, because if we're accepting them and we're supposed to be that, like, it has to be that, right?
Sure.
So,
otherwise, you're an age phobe.
Right. And it's so crazy. Like they didn't know that by opening this floodgate to transgenderism and that we have to accept them in just every regard, that all this other shit will come up. Now you have transracialism and shit like that. Like
and I love that. Have you seen that troll? He was on TikTok a while ago. The blue-haired lesbos guy. He was actually pretty good troll, but he was like I think he got banned or whatever, and people didn't get the satire, but he was basically doing all the transgender arguments, but as transracial. So he was pretending he was transracial, and he was like calling everybody bigots who would get mad at him and using all their same arguments against them. And it's a good analogy, and people hate that. And it's like, why can't you accept a transracial? Why can't you accept a trans age? How is that any different?
Well, because that's crazy. That's crazy.
Of course, because their arbitrary line is what they think is okay. One that I trolled on a while ago, not even on TikTok, I think this was on Facebook, was somebody was sharing one of my gay friends who's like full on open, putting on almost like sex pictures on Facebook with his boyfriend, which no judgment, but just like wants the whole world to know how gay he is. And that's cool. I mean, for him. And then he put out something about a mother and son couple who were like in love with each other and having sex and saying how gross it was. And I just started using his own arguments against him. I was like, everything you're saying is what people said about gay people 50 years ago. It's gross. It's unnatural. It's, it's not, you can't make babies. It's a risk to procreation, all these things. That it's like, how can you make these arguments? Like, they love each other. It's not hurting anybody. They're two consenting adults because the kid was over 18. It's like, where's your argument that wouldn't also be held against gay people? It's just arbitrary. You think what you do is fine and normal. And I agree it is. But how can you also say not incest? What's the difference? So I think these things are going to come down the line. You're going to have transracial.
Was it actual incest, or was it
I mean, they didn't have a baby, but they were for real having sex and in love.
No, but I mean, were they like really related?
Yes, like mother and son.
That's wild. I thought you were saying that it was like it was seen as mother and son.
No, it was for real, real mother and a real son who were adults who were speaking, on one of these woke video documentary things, like, we just want to be accepted too because our love is just as valid. And why not? Why not?
To be fair though, you can't have like a baby with 3 arms typically from just gay intercourse, but
true,
you can have some shit like that with
okay, they use birth control. My point is like, what is your argument here? So the argument is solely based on the genetic
3-arm baby? Yeah. I mean, that would be good enough.
That's the only reason. But those arguments could be very similar to what you would say against gay people. It's like, you can't have a baby and the purpose for sex is to have a baby. If you're saying the only way they can have sex is based on how they procreate, they're saying we're not going to have a baby. We're just going to have sex. There you go. Problem solved. What's the problem with that? And I'm not making a judgment. I'm just saying it was just funny how he was saying all these things that literally sounded exactly like what was told to him when he was growing up.
Sure, and I get that, but even just going off of just that example, just thinking about that specifically for a second,
you don't like the idea. I could tell you're like,
I'm not loving that. I'm not loving that idea, because now it's like, okay, like I totally believe in like incest laws. Like I believe we have to have it just for shit like that, and also because another thing is that you could totally take advantage of like your kid or
sure,
like grown up and shit
but
like that.
Setting that aside,
setting that aside, just talking about like the 3-arm baby, and of course I'm not talking about like a legitimate 3-arm baby. I'm kind of making fun of a serious situation. So okay, if there was if zombies were real, and shit like that, it should be illegal to not procreate with zombies if you can then have like zombie babies and shit like that too. You know what I mean?
Consent, bro. 2 consenting zombies,
Can a zombie consent?
No, I don't know.
Can a zombie consent?
If they don't have a brain, I mean, do they even really need to consent?
Matter of fact, if they don't have a brain, because I mean, leftists believe that, like you're only a human with a fully formed brain.
I know,
and shit like that.
The mental gymnastics.
You're not even human, so it's like, you can really just do whatever you want with them.
And then what about bestiality? That is going to come down the line. People are into that. What is the arguments there? I can foresee what you're saying is it is a slippery slope to where they are going to get to a point where they have to admit, bestiality into this is okay, pedophilia into, well, this is okay, incest, this is okay.
Dude, have you seen that there are groups that are trying to make pedophilia like a part of the LGBTQ, and
I have heard of that.
It's something like it's a sexual preference or some shit like that. Shit is wild. Now, you do have LGBT people that are coming out and saying shit like, "No, we do not accept this."
You see,
but some people
close the door. They close the door behind them. It's like my sexual preference is something I can't control, and I'm a victim based on how I was born and what I'm attracted to, but you don't get to. And I agree that we should not normalize that, because I can't see any scenario in which pedophilia, the act of it, is a victimless crime because a child cannot consent. That, I think there's definite arguments for why we cannot allow that, but you can't say the same against 2 consenting adults who are related. you know, other than, yes, it's you're going to have a deformed baby, but let's say he got fixed. You get a vasectomy, problem solved. That's mom and son.
That's a fair argument, but we can agree that shit is fucking gross, right?
I mean, sometimes I Pornhub it. Yo, what's up? I'm always
like, you don't want to see my favorites, bro.
I'm always disappointed when I find out they're not actually mother and son when I watch the videos.
Right? You know what I mean? It's like, damn, it's like this fake ass shit.
No, it's interesting. And the thing is, a lot of these things I don't really care about. I'm not disgusted by gay people. I don't even have a problem with trans people. I just have a problem with you defining it as a real woman. Like, we can just have a separate category. There's men, there's women, and then there's trans men and trans women. That is a separate category, and you have your own unique perspective and your own unique problems. But when you start telling me that you are the exact same as a real woman, that's where I have problems. And I kind of play around with these issues and kind of use their logic against them. And that's kind of what the incest thing angle is. It's not that I am actually fighting for incest or whatever. It's just, show me where there's a hole in this argument. You know, I like to play with that.
We're definitely different on transgenders. I think that you don't think as deeply into it. Like, I feel like you just don't really care. You know what I mean? You just don't really care.
I'm pretty open-minded. As much as people don't know, I'm an open-minded dude, especially when it comes to sexuality and just individuality of how you express yourself in the world. But I also demand to have the same respect to make jokes or have opinions on it, you know? And people will take that as hatred, and it's like, no. But I pretty much am pretty open-minded to anything.
Yeah, I'm pretty against transgenderism in a sense. It's not that I'm against them as an individual to express themselves. You know what I mean? I linked up with a podcast with this person from Trannies for Trump. That's their page, and a bunch of transgenders that support Trump. And I'm totally, hey, whatever you want to do, right? My whole thing with the transgenderism thing, what I am against is I am totally 100% against using their pronouns. I am not for using, and I'll tell you why. I am not for using their pronouns. I will use your name. Like, if you say, if your name was Samantha and now your name is Samuel or whatever, I'll totally use your name. Or you want to go by what a Trixie or whatever. Okay, people can legally change their names. So who am I to judge if you literally have a masculine or more feminine?
Well, you can legally change your birth certificate now. So
yeah, right. So it's like, look, if you totally want to do that, like I'm cool with that. I'll address you by your name. I think that's a fair compromise between both of us. Okay, but to actually to refer to you as the sex that you clearly are not, even though you say that it's gender, and these people say that gender and sex are different, it's like, but it's not really. Like, I mean, not in this sense.
It's very connected. It's not a coincidence that if we just went on the street and saw 1,000 random people who we never met, almost with 100% accuracy, almost, you could guess exactly what their genitalia is just by looking at them. There's not it's not a coincidence.
Right.
You know?
And not even just based off genitalia, it's just your fucking biology, man. Yeah. You know what I mean? So my whole thing is like, look, I don't want to address you. If you are a man, if you were born a man, right? You really are a man still to me. But if you are a man and then you identify as a woman, cool, do you, bro. But you're not going to pull me into that fucking you are not going to pull me into that fucking psychosis. And I don't want to perpetuate this notion that like by confusing my own brain by now trying to like identify you as a woman and now thinking of you as a woman. I don't want that. I want to understand what facts are, and I want to there's a reason why you are a man and why you aren't or you are a woman. There's a difference between heterosexuality and homosexuality. I'm not saying one is better. I am only saying there is a difference, and I don't want to blur these fucking lines. Like, I don't want, like, the whole thing is, man, is that I believe that the whole transgender, like the triggered transgenders, not every transgender, right? But I believe that this whole transgender thing is really just a way for society to break down and blur the lines between hetero and homo, and that, you know, it's just all going to be one thing. And it's just like,
well, the thing is, that's just going to backfire too, just like all of these, because then it's going to end up having these consequences that you can also just throw back in their face. If, you know, especially if you're playing like the pointing out hypocrisy, you know, if you're saying you can identify as a woman because you just feel like that, you've always felt like a woman. It's like, what does a woman feel like? How do you know that what you're feeling isn't just what I feel all the time? And I'm just a man, you know, tell me what my experience is. So I could equally just say, well, I'm a woman, you know, you don't know the difference. You don't know what I'm feeling or what I'm experiencing.
Right.
I get your point on all that. Like, I definitely agree with you as far as the language, where I'm not going, that people think like the pronouns issue.
Do you understand what I'm saying? Like it confused it will
No,
not
I get where you're going, and I think I actually agree with you on that.
Yeah, like it's just like even more. It's just like, well, but that's not a woman though.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
That's why I'm saying there's a reason they're called trans women. They're not called women. They're called trans women because they are different than women. They are trans women. Trans women, by very definition, is a man who is transitioned to a woman. Just give it a different category, whatever. But as far as the pronouns go, it's like, I agree. My language is based on our perception of things, not what they want to be defined as. So just because they say, I want to be referred to as a she, when humans use pronouns, we're not using them because of how you feel. We're using them because of how we perceive the world. I say he or she based on whether I perceive you as a he or she. That's why when you're very passable as a woman, if you're a trans, there are a lot of trans women who you would never even know are men if they didn't tell you. They do exist.
I'd say
gonna look at them.
I'd say there's a handful. I don't know about many.
I mean, I've met some. I won't get into those stories, but I mean, hey, I'm pretty open-minded, man. My point is, when I see you as a feminine woman, and if my brain sees that, I'm not going to question it. My brain just sees you as a woman, and I'm going to probably use the she, her pronouns. But if you take off all the makeup, if you take off all the surgery, if you were just the masculine man, I'm going to see you as a man. It's based on how my brain sees you. So it has to be true or at least convincing. Whereas when you see, that viral video of the guy in the GameStop, I can't even say he's a woman. And he's like, it is ma'am. Yeah. It is ma'am. And he's like yelling at the clerk, and he's wearing a dress, and he has long hair, but he clearly is a dude. Has a low voice, is very aggro and aggressive. Very muscular, very tall, and it's just
to me, he just looked like somebody from like the fucking 70s or something.
Even the clerk who was trying to be polite and was trying to apologize, like, I'm so sorry, sir, I'm so sorry. He kept saying sir, and the guy's like, it is ma'am, and it's like, you don't understand that people's brains don't work that way. If you seem and appear and sound, and all the signals are saying you are a man, no amount of convincing that you want to be a woman is going to trick us into thinking you're a man. But it goes the other way. When it is convincing, it's hard for me to call you a man, even if I know you're a man, if you seem like a woman. My brain just is going to make a judgment based on, and then there's the middle ground where you're androgynous and you don't really know if it's a boy or girl. And that does exist until you know the genitalia or the chromosomes, but most of that is not public. But that's about as far as it's like, there's a man, there's a woman. I'm going to use pronouns based on which I think you are. And then there's the middle ground where like, is that a boy or is that a girl? I don't really know, And then I'll ask them.
People do that to my dog all the time because my dog is a male, he's a boy, but he is not gifted in any way there. so he gets made. I feel bad for him all the time because it's like, oh yeah, that's a girl. It's like, no, you don't see that? That's clearly a boy.
Like he's over there, like.
I'm trying to stick out. I was like, I got you, bro. I got you. I'm with you.
Dude, I feel you. I have a cat, and this cat is a bitch. I'm like, dude, so many cats that I've had. I like cats. I like dogs too. It's just dogs are responsibility, but the cats are usually killers. This cat is like the runt of the litter who every time we let him outside, I literally 3 separate occasions have caught him being raped. Screaming and cats are rapey, dude. They're rapey. And I just hear and I'm like, oh my God, he's fucking getting raped again. And I go outside and he's just like cowering while some other neighbor cat is just pinning him down. And I'm just like, dude, I feel bad for you, man.
Bro, so when I have an identical story. So when I first got my boy, I got him at 6 months old. And so I start taking him to like the dog park, especially because he's like a pit mix. I want to make sure he's socialized so there's no weird shit going on. So anyway. So I take him to the dog park. This motherfucker gets raped hella times, bro. Like I don't even know. Like I'm looking at my phone and shit, and I'm seeing him like do his thing, and then I'll look up, and there's this other dog like straight up like on top of my boy, just like oh man, it's bad.
Does he like it?
Get in there.
Does he seem like he likes it?
No, dude, my dog was not liking that shit. My dog was clearly a victim. My dog was like clearly just like, I don't know what to do here.
Dude, I wouldn't even bet that in the future they'll have laws against that. Like you're held liable if your dog rapes another dog without their consent.
Wild. So I would get in there and I'd be like, hey, and I would be like, break that shit the fuck up. And dude, this one guy is like, dude, they're just showing their dom. I don't give a fuck what that shit is. Your dog is not doing that.
Like I'm showing my dominance over your rapey dog.
Bro, it's like, bro, I will show my dominance over you, motherfucker. Like, get your fucking dog off of my dog. Like, come on, man.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah,
No,
man. Animals really show how it is. Like, that's what humans are. We just pretend to be so civil, and we have all these rules in society that holds us together, which, when that breaks down, what's going to happen. I made a joke about this, in a future world where
end of the world civilization,
where people stop having babies and the women refuse to populate the earth and things start breaking down. I made a little joke about this. You might have heard it caused some controversy on TikTok.
It totally caused it, but it was, dude, not only was that like funny, but your response when Joe Robe called it out was fucking bro, dude. You're like, look, I don't know what you thought. I meant that we hold them down and put tie them down
in relations and ask for consent. Obviously,
right.
Like what? I never said rape. You guys said rape. I love doing that. My girlfriend was cracked. She was like, "How did you come up with that? That is so brilliant." Because I just was like, I have to spin this another way, and I can't I'm not apologizing.
Right. No. Yeah. Facts. Dude. Yeah. But, dude, speaking of that, you know who Joe Robe is. I mean, you know who that is.
Yeah, I'd say.
Dude, he blocked you, right? Did he block you?
Yeah, he blocked me on Instagram and Twitter before I even knew he had an Instagram and Twitter. He went out of his way to preemptively block me. I'm just like, wow, that's dedication.
Why did he block you?
I don't know, because I don't know.
Shared this video, or you just had
there was early videos. I have to go back where I did duet him, and I didn't really have this rivalry with him, or I didn't know him that well, and I kind of duetted him like I did a bunch of people. And I don't think he blocked me right then, but there was a time I commented on one of his videos, and we did a quick back and forth, and I was like kind of mocking one of his points, and he would delete my comments, and then I got banned from commenting right away. So I know he had his people report me because it was on his video, and I think right after then was when he blocked me. I don't know.
Anyway, that guy, and I hope he fucking watches this, because anything that I say on a podcast or on a live, people like always like try to clip it out and just like, oh, look what Tyler says. Like, I'd say this shit to your fucking face.
Yeah.
Like that dude, any dude that it hit, not just him. I'm not just pointing out just him, but him and any other person like him that fucking limits your comments to only fucking friends only. You put out these controversial political and social videos saying that you're trying to change people's minds, but you can't because you're not willing to have any type of actual fucking discourse. You just want to put out your version and then limit the amount of actual discussions between people of opposing views. You are so fucking weak, man. You are so fucking weak. He hasn't blocked me yet. He might see
it'll
this
happen.
clip. But I'm just like, you people are so fucking weak, and people will say shit like, it's like, whoa, well, I get death threats and shit. First of all, you think I don't get fucking death threats?
Guess what I get in my DMs every fucking day, and it isn't from dudes. It's all from girls who act like they're being bullied, and they just send me the most vile, hateful shit ever. And guess what my block list is? 0. You asked me the other day. You were like, "What do you do?" That was you, right? Who
I was asking you what you do with spammers and shit.
Yeah, so I had spammers blocked back during the Barb's days, but I still would go through and unblock everybody at some point. So my block list is completely zero right now. I'm
starting to unblock them just because most of them watch my fucking videos.
Yeah,
you know what
exactly.
I
mean? I need all the clout. That's what I don't understand with his strategy. And I made a joke about him today. That was the last video I just posted. Was like Joe Robe's thinking he's going to educate men on women's issues, but he's already blocked all the men. Like we can't even, it's not even not commenting. It's like, we can't even watch the video. So who are you teaching here? If you actually think that thought through, the only people he's teaching is little girls to trust him while calling us the predators and creeps. It's like, you're not educating anybody. You're preaching to little girls to get them to call you a king. Who's the creep on the fucking app,
Right. Or you're just,
weird.
Or you're just living in this fucking echo chamber. And I say this shit all the time, man. It's like, how are you, break this shit down for me. First of all, how are you going to change anyone's mind, if you don't give them the opportunity to actually have a discussion with you? That's first thing. How are you going to change anyone's mind if you just cancel them, right? Second, how are you going to change anyone's mind if you come out of the gate just straight up insulting them? And it's not even like a joking, witty insult. It's just straight up hateful insults. It's just meant to discredit you in any way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
that's what a lot of people do. It's they just, I think that's the same thing with the Black Lives Matter versus white people or whatever. It's like when you just call everybody, say you have white privilege or white people are the devil or whatever. It's like, you're not going to win us over when we probably be on your side. I actually agree with probably a lot of where your heart's coming from. But when you just come at me with that energy, it's like, I'm just naturally going to push back.
I'm going to double down. I'm just going to double down on my shit at that point.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Of course, I think it's fine to make videos that you and I make both videos. like you troll, but you do what I consider intellectual trolling. It's
Yeah.
not just like people that troll me, they're just like, Tyler, you're bald. You're bald. I was like,
Exactly.
I was like, I know
People
that shit.
think
It's
that's
like,
what I do. They literally have it in their head like all I do is shock humor, like just say racist, blunt, horrible shit. For it's like, dude, everything I've ever done has a context and a point. I'm never just saying women are stupid. Black people suck. Like, I don't get where people are coming from.
And then just cut the video. It's just
yeah.
that. Right.
It's like, what? That's not my joke. Even the rape joke, they're just like, hey, let's break down Nick's rape joke. Ha ha, rape is funny. What? That was not the point of the joke. That wasn't. I had a whole premise to the joke, and I had a response to the joke. And if anything, I'm mocking the women's hypocrisy on the app, and they're just like, none of it was like, ha ha, this is hilarious.
Bro, out of context,
I don't get it.
Out of context is what Zoomers love to do the most, but it particularly on TikTok, definitely when you're in politics. And like I said, man, everyone wants to paint me as like this predator on. First of all, if you are in fucking politics, okay, not even politics. If you are uploading your fucking personal life, I'm not even talking about politics. If you are uploading your personal life to the internet, anybody has a right to talk about it, right? You don't just get to say, well, no, only these people can talk about it.
But I'm only 16.
Right. It's like, well, then don't upload your fucking life to the goddamn internet. That's really fucking simple, right?
Talk to a therapist, guys, you know?
Right. Or you could limit that to like friends only, but you put that shit public.
You love when everybody's going, oh, we love you. We're in your corner. You want all that feedback, but you just want the positive, and that's not the way it works.
See, my thing is that I believe that like if you're in this, like if you're in political TikTok, especially I may talk about certain things that like you upload that may not technically be politics, but it's typically with political TikTokers that are just uploading other shit, right? So it's not like just some fucking rando, you know what I mean? So it's like, okay, so you're in political TikTok, you're uploading some stupid ass shit. My whole platform is based on like debunking stupid shit. You know what I mean? It's like, it's just like making sure that you're aware of that. So like the fact is that they can like, it's so fucking like, I'm not a victim. I want to be very clear. I am not a victim.
You sure, bro? You look like a victim. I've been told your skin's a little tanner than mine, so I think you're a victim.
Right? But like, if you want to go down like who is a victim and who isn't, like oh, you're a homophobe and you're this, is like, well, if you really want to go down that, I just say you're fucking ageist. You know what I mean? By constantly bringing like my age up, it's like, oh, you're 30, and I was like, I get that. I'm 30.
They're baldists too. They're baldists.
Exactly. And it's just like, I'm like, okay, but are you saying that someone who's 18 can't have a discussion with someone who's 30 unless that person is agreeing with them? Are you saying that an 18-year-old that shouldn't be debating Steven Crowder if Steven Crowder gives them the opportunity on fucking college campus, that you can't be doing that? You know what I mean? If you're in political TikTok, even if you're 17 or 16, if you're talking politics, is it only okay if I agree with what you're saying, but when I actually disagree, oh, you're bullying minors and it's like, dude, first of all,
meanwhile, they want the right to vote. It's like, you want the right to vote.
That's
so
what
we
I'm
have
talking
to,
about.
Yeah.
If you especially you want not even just wanting the right to vote, you are about to vote at 18. So it's even more imperative that I fucking like break down your bullshit before you get in that fucking ballot and start casting shit. Like you don't have no idea what you're fucking talking about.
I know.
You know what I mean?
It's like, so they want the best of both worlds. They want to have the innocence of being a child, and you can't talk to me and you can't debate me. Otherwise, I'm a child, but then they want to be treated like an adult and be like, my opinions are valid and it's just as valid as yours. And it's all hypocritical.
I had this thing before where I didn't really want to debate anyone that was under 18 just because it doesn't really benefit. Like, I don't get like, I don't
just going to call you a predator or something. That's what
and I don't want mad video. Like if I like troll you or like if you say some shit and I make fun of you for it, like I don't really care about that. But an actual like structured debate with someone who's like 15, I'm like, it doesn't really benefit me to do that. You know what I mean? But I don't know. I might entertain it because I'm like, well, we should like kind of educate them. I don't know. I go back.
Well, it's all content. The thing is, debates never change anybody's mind. You're never going to change their mind. They're not going to change your mind, but it changes the audience mind, people who watch.
Yes.
But that person is they're just the board for you to bounce ideas off of to create your content. Agree. That's all it is.
I agree. And I thought you were going to go into something else. So yeah, so I absolutely agree. I think that debates rarely change that person's mind. It has happened, but I think it's very rare. But yes, the point is not to change that person's mind. The point is to change their audience's mind.
Yeah.
Right? Like fucking like just like everyday like normies. You know what I mean? It's really to change their mind, which is why
even that though, I would say it's it's still probably rare that it changed, because even the audience has their biases, and they kind of just, but what it does is it gives people who do kind of lean towards you better tools and better arguments to kind of, for them to take and argue and build their worldview stronger, you know?
But I think that I think that we need to acknowledge that there are different reasons to debate. So, and I think that the type of debate that you have is really important. Like there's this guy Vosh, right, on YouTube, and he's like a leftist debater and things like that. And he's like the leftist savior on TikTok and shit like that. No hate on him. Hey, he's built his platform. I got no hate on him, bro. Like none at all. I don't agree with like a lot of shit that he says. And he recently put out this document, this leftist document showing like systemic racism exists and blah, 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 which I'm going through right now because this is the only thing that he's going to refer to. So I'm going through it to debunk it or to see if I agree with it, right? But anyway, so the point is, I don't even know where I was going with that, dude. There's like
dude, that happens like all the time to me. And then you just have to, it's like
too much weed in my life. Too much weed in my life, bro.
I was doing a podcast yesterday with my girlfriend, and the same thing happened. I was literally going on this story, and there was a build up to it, so I had to do it. And like halfway through, I was like, where am I going with that? And literally just couldn't get back to it. And I was like, well, this is fucking falling off the rails.
This is like, okay.
No, you were talking about Vosh. You were talking about how he's a leftist. You were bringing up debates rarely change each other's minds.
Right. So, okay. So, thank you for the alley-oop.
Yeah.
So check it out. So, like his style of debate, I think personally, and I am going to challenge him to a debate as soon as I go through his document, is that I think that his style of debate, for most of them, not every debate, but a lot of them, I think it's incredibly fucking toxic, man. I think it's so toxic because like when I watch his debates, he's just like throwing crazy ad homs, crazy like direct insults, trying to belittle your intelligence. And it's almost like he gets off on making you look fucking stupid instead of trying to have a conversation to even acknowledge anything that what you're saying has any validity. You know what I mean? And I don't think that is going to change minds, is what we were talking about. I don't think that's going to change minds. I think that if you have a debate the right way, so even though I get on like my TikToks and I'm highly triggering and shit like that, it's really just to trigger a response to where we can have a discussion, right?
Yeah.
Because I think that the most shocking thing will get people to get on there and have a response.
Sure.
So, you know what I mean?
People should self-reflect. When you get super mad at something, you can't just get mad and say, don't say that hurt my feelings. You should question, like, why does that hurt my feelings so much? What's the principle underneath this that I really disagree with that's so triggering? And they almost never even think about that. They just go to, well, you're hateful or you offended me or whatever.
Right. So like, I think debates, if done right, I think that they can be good. Like I've had a couple of debates and I'm like very different than on a debate than when I'm on like a TikTok video, right?
Yeah.
Just like you're different right here on your podcast and when you're making a TikTok video, right? I'm actually trying to have a conversation with you. Now, am I trying to debunk some shit that I believe is wrong? Absolutely. But if you can convince me, that's fine. Like we're having an intellectual debate. We don't have to be super triggered over shit. You know what I mean? But there are people that the point of the debate, and I would agree, it's not really to change people's mind. It's really just to debunk this shit, just because if you have like if I believe you have a massive following, like if you have 100,000 followers, I don't care what fucking platform you are on, like that is a decent amount of followers by any fucking standard. When you have like
small for me, bro.
Yeah, I know, right? But once you have like 100 kids, like 100,000 people really listen to what this motherfucker has to say, it's like you are influencing these people. If you are perpetuating some fucking lie and these people are just gobbling that shit up, I'm like, and they view you to be like untouchable, and I'm like, I have to debunk this shit. It's not even about convincing that person. It's like, you have to know this shit is not real. Like this shit is false. So
or you just need to give them. Yeah. I feel like a lot of times when I was first getting like politically involved and listening to politics, is like, sometimes I just need somebody to give me an argument that's like, oh, okay, that's a way that I can put that in my head and have this principle moving forward. Whereas when you only hear from one side, always, it's easy to be like, well, that makes sense. And that makes sense. And that makes sense. I guess I agree with you. And you need somebody to kind of poke a hole in something and be like, oh, well, that actually does make sense. So now I'm some of this is falling apart. And I always like to listen to both sides for that, reason.
Yeah.
I haven't listened to Bosch.
I do agree that I think that everyday normies, they will just continue to agree with someone though until they're really challenged.
Yeah. And I mean, you see this on both sides. You know, Ben Shapiro is
Facts.
kind of that type of dude who just
Facts.
wants to rip people down, not rip them down like petty wise, but he's never going to admit that he's wrong about anything. He just
Dude,
wants to.
so many conservatives hold, and I'm not hating on Ben Shapiro, right? But so many conservatives believe that Ben Shapiro is just fucking like this debate god,
Yeah.
and like he's never wrong. And I'm like, this dude is wrong all the time.
Yeah, he has
like,
a lot of talking points that he just sticks on, and he's just really good at being very confident with his arguments and very quick.
This dude is the reason why people believe, like the conservatives, and even I bought into this shit until I really fucking researched it. They believe in this 1350, like 13% black people, 13% of the population makes up for 50% of violent crime. And then I took that and ran with that, like in my early political days. I was like, this shit is real. And then when I actually looked at it, like went to the FBI website, and because that's what they quote, and I'm like, look at it, I was like, wait a minute, this shit isn't 50%. First of all, it's like 37% of all violent crime. That's first thing. It's not
still
50,
pretty high.
37. It's still high, but not fucking 50.
No,
you know what I mean? And then it's like it's not even 13%. It's actually like 7% because like 90%
it's the men.
Yeah, so it's really like 7% make up 35% of the crime, which is kind of worse than like 1350. But still, like this whole 1350, I was like, that shit's wrong. Like you people just gobble that shit up, and like even I did. Like it's like we gobble this shit up. We need to fact check ourselves. Just because someone has an ideology that you more closely relate or agree with doesn't mean that we don't fact check these motherfuckers, and it definitely doesn't mean that anything that they say just has to be fucking right. You know what I mean?
And that's the thing with Ben Shapiro is like, I like to listen to him. His show is good for like getting current events and getting what's going on in the political cycle. But there's never a situation that happens where I'm like, gee, I wonder where Ben Shapiro is going to fall on this topic. I know exactly what he's going to say and what he believes and like where he's going to spin it. And I just like to hear his arguments to get there because some of them I'll take in and some of them I'll discard. But I also will then listen to the far left to hear what their arguments about the same issue. And I don't agree with either, but some are like, that makes a really good point. And that's a good point to counter argue anybody who's coming from the Ben Shapiro side or whatever.
I think it's incredibly important to like really know what each side is arguing.
Yeah. And the amount of people, I'll talk politics with people. I've had friends come over and they're just like, you like Ben Shapiro? And I'm like, yeah, I like him. And they're like, yeah, blah, blah, blah. And they start talking. It's like, have you listened to anybody besides Ben Shapiro? And it's like, no, that's where they get all of their politics from. And it's like, yeah, I don't think we're going to have and then I just say one thing that there's like a good counterpoint to, and they have no idea what to say. Yeah. Ben Shapiro's good, but he's definitely not the be all and end all of politics.
Facts.
Do you listen to anybody on the left? Like YouTubers, big YouTubers? See, you're one of them.
Okay, so I say that I used to. I will say, well, I don't really listen to them. I mean, I do listen to Crowder a fair amount, but I more so listen to Anthony Brian Logan, Black Republican on YouTube. He's really good. I actually had him on my podcast. He was pretty cool. But anyway, so he's got like 600,000 on fucking YouTube, bro. It's like this is fucking awesome.
That's
but
dope.
Anyway, so no, I used to listen to like a fair amount. I didn't even realize that they were left until I really got deep into politics. But I used to listen to the Young Turks like pretty heavy. I used to listen to them. They were like 2 years ago. They were really big. They've fallen off. Like no one talks about them anymore
because they embarrassed themselves over the 2016 election. Just completely embarrassed themselves. Yeah, building all this up, saying Trump had no chance. If you really want a good laugh and a walk down memory lane, watch their live stream during election night and just
they had a live stream.
Oh, dude, it's like 10 hours long of them starting the day being like, there's just no chance. Hillary's got 99%. We can't wait to mock. They're just mocking the whole night long. And then you just see them slowly start to crumble and come to terms with like, oh my God, I can't believe it. And then by the end, they're just like, this is the America that we live in now. I can't believe it. What is wrong with it? It's like so hilarious. It's great.
Yeah. I do listen to like one or two people on the left on TikTok. Like I enjoy them because they're not super fucking triggered and they actually have like meaningful conversations. But it's far and few in between, man. Like this is straight up, and this is to anybody, whether you're on the left or the right. You have to be able to have conversations with people that you disagree with, even when people in your own. So like I'm now starting to like more openly disagree with Republicans because I'm not a fucking Republican. I disagree with a lot of shit that fucking Republicans do. In the beginning, I didn't want to go after them super hard just because like that's like my core fucking audience.
You got to build your audience.
Yeah, you got to build your audience. But even still, I don't want to go after them hard, not just because I want to lose my audience, but just because they're more closely to what I want them to be,
Yeah.
that it's like it wouldn't benefit me to just constantly fucking insult them. I want them to be more of they're the closest things that I can get to allies. So I'm more likely to be able to convince them to get over here than I am to get a fucking leftist. You know what I mean?
And I think that's fair. Everybody's like, they'll say that even about my jokes and stuff, is like, you only attack women's issues or you only do this. And it's like, one, I'm not attacking. This isn't war. I'm just making a point or a joke. But there's a million people who are standing up for democratic, liberal, feminist ideas. There's not a lot of people. I mean, there's a lot of people sticking up for men's issues, but poorly. I'm sticking up for people from my perspective. You don't have to be equally balanced. You have to be the voice that is needed based on the voice you can give and the knowledge you can give, and build the audience that you want to build. Everybody thinks it's like that. Yeah, we're all biased. Everybody's biased. I think that's fine.
And it's clearly fucking working for you. You know what I mean?
It is. And that's the thing too, is I didn't get on here and say, this is what I'm going to do. I've always been this way, like sarcastic troll. I trolled on Twitter. I trolled on Facebook for many years. I'm this way on other apps. I'm this way in real life. That's
did you ever get like as big as you are now in any other app?
No. So that's why this is the biggest I've ever been. So I'm really running with it and trying to take it serious. I got big on other apps, but they were small apps. It was like, I was the #1 like rated user in this other app I was in back in like 2014. And I was like the most like popular creator on there, but it was like a community of like 10,000 people or something,
but not like on like Facebook or anything like that.
No. I mean, I definitely would. What I would do on Facebook, especially, is I'd follow pages like political pages and cultural pages and feminists and memes and all kinds of things. And I would always leave trollish comments similar to what I would do here. And I would often be the top rated comment, like often. But Facebook was never like a platform where you really, grow on, because it's your friends and family, and you're not really building a following.
And their fucking algorithm sucks.
Yeah, it's terrible. And then Instagram, I was doing other content. I had started a channel called Two Cool Stools, which is like over here in the corner, but it was just like a fun, like drunk channel where I bring home like friends and random people, and we would just have crazy conversations. And I was trying to like get going on Instagram, but again, you can't get organic growth. I had done a video every single day for a year, and I got to like 530 followers.
Yeah, bro. Right. Exactly.
I've been on like 7 months and I'm at 500,000, where are you going to put your focus?
Wild. Dude, I was on Facebook I was on political Facebook, like making like similar things for like videos and all kinds of shit for 2 years. You know how many followers I got in 2 years? 2,000 followers.
That's actually impressive.
Bro. So then I get on fucking TikTok only because Topher, like Topher Town Music, I was friends with him on Instagram. He's like, bro, you're on fucking TikTok? Isn't that for just like 12-year-olds? And she's like, bro, he's like, politics on TikTok is starting to jump off. You should dump shit. And I was like, all right, so I'll go and check it out. Dude, I've been on here for less than 3 months, and I have like 85,000 followers. I was like, that shit is fucking wild. That shit is just like, one thing that I can definitely say, and TikTok has its fucking flaws, of course, but their algorithm is far superior. Yeah. Like the people that would want to see your videos, or even in that same realm of politics, whether it's leftist or rightist or whatever, they will see it. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like they will see it. But
and
like
the people who hate it will see it. And that's often how you grow.
Right. But like on things like Facebook, especially Facebook is trash, but Instagram maybe, but like it's hit or miss. TikTok is really good at getting those videos in front of the right people. So
you're not jumping to Instagram Reels that launched yesterday?
The hell is Instagram Reels?
It's their TikTok knockoff that they
You're lying.
Instagram. It's on there. It's real.
No way. Yeah.
It's literally a carbon copy of TikTok.
Hold on. Is this like a separate app?
No, it's built into the camera, kind of like where the boomerangs are, or like, where, and you swipe over to Reels, and it's basically like you got a timer, you can pick songs, you can add text. It is so a carbon copy, but just terrible because they don't understand.
I would say that it's a Chinese ripoff, but the Chinese are actually like
The thing is, though, is Facebook's like, oh, this is just an app where you can record funny videos and put music. It's like, that's not why TikTok works. It's the community and the algorithm. It's the discovery. It's the ability to put out video. Like Instagram doesn't give you the For You page. They give you here's who paid for sponsored posts. It's like, that's not how you're going to compete. I checked it out and I was like, nope, this is not going to work. I'm done.
Is it trash?
I mean, yeah, it's trash. And especially coming from TikTok, you're just like, no. I mean, but it's technically able to do similar features, but no, it's They
Yeah,
missed the whole point.
that's why I do not want TikTok to go away. Like when this whole thing was possibly gonna get taken down by Trump, which I knew like it really wasn't. So and I even said it. I was like, dude, I'm pretty sure this is just like a business move. I don't think it's legitimate.
And it was brilliant in the
It
end.
was, it really was. But then you had people like, I didn't hear your reaction if you gave one, but I saw Papa Gut, and Papa Gut was like, look, fuck this app. Like, I don't really give a shit. And I'm sitting here like, I'm like, I get you, but no, like,
He's
I
full
got
of
these
shit,
85,
though.
I got these 85,000. I'm
Yeah.
like so close to 100. I
He's
was like,
full of
no.
He's just putting it out there because he wants to keep this image like he doesn't care about his 1.1 million followers. He did the same because
Right.
he got banned, right, the other
Yeah.
day, and he's
He
back
did
now.
care.
So
He did care.
he pretended like he did. He's like, this isn't even bothering me. It's like bullshit, bro. I would be devastated. You know damn well that bothers you. I mean, I'd move on. My life will be fine, and
Sure.
I'm happy that I have grown my YouTube and my Instagram, that I think I have at least a seed following that I can grow over time into something big, regardless of what happens. But this idea that he's just trying to be like, I don't even care.
Bro,
like, yeah, you do.
It's like it's not even the app itself. It's like I earned that shit. Not only did I earn that shit, but like all of those like this sounds like kind of like arrogant, but not really. Like those followers hold me to some type of regard. Like they are what made me you know big, and they actually appreciate what I have to say. So not only just from my own selfish reasons that like, damn, I want to grow this, but it's like, like, what about them? Like they totally liked my shit, and now they cannot see my shit anymore. You know what I mean?
Are you doing anything to really build your other platforms? Or
I have to now. Like I have to now.
I mean, I think everybody does, and we're all and I've been slowly doing it, but it's still, I'm amazed. I've been on Instagram since 2011, maybe like right when it came out. I had like 900 followers 6 months ago. Now I have almost 21,000 followers. That's insane growth in like just a few months. But to think that's big compared to 500,000 followers, it's like and I've been slowly promoting it throughout my whole thing and only got 20,000 of 500 something thousand people over. So it's like you have to be doing it all the time. And a lot of people never even thought about it until Trump's going to delete the app. And then they're all, people with million followings could just disappear because they haven't moved them over in any meaningful way to some
personally, I think that Instagram is going to be like, are you familiar with the Instagram, like IGTV?
Yeah.
Okay, I think that IGTV is going to be the fucking future. Like as of right now, oh yeah, dude. Just first of all, this whole thing of just being able to use your phone like vertically instead of fucking
it's the
horizontal.
new format.
Yeah, and it's not that YouTube can't do it, and it's not that you can't kind of do it already, but that's Instagram's whole thing is that it's all vertical. Like, and they did like studies that like, especially Zoomers, like they do not like to turn their fucking phone. It's something stupid like that, right? But like they like to just watch it just like this. And just their whole Instagram live is really good. I mean, they cap it at an hour, which is shitty, and they don't have donations yet. But still, like I think that whole IGTV is going to take off, and I think it's going to be. It might not be the same as YouTube, and it might not technically be. It might not put YouTube in like peril, but I think it would definitely be somewhat of a competitor.
Well, I think TikTok could move into that world too. They already have the audience. They have all the eyeballs.
Do you think that they're really going to stray away from 60-second videos though?
I think you can already. I saw somebody saying you can upload 3-minute videos now as long as it's uploaded from your camera roll. You can't film it in the camera control, but you can upload a 3-minute video. So they're tiptoeing into it. And I mean, the live streaming, I think, is kind of superior. The only problem is their censorship. It's they're kicking you off and banning you, and you have no clue what your violations are. And it's just like you can't say anything. At least on Instagram, people. That's why I like sending my haters to Instagram, because they'll actually be like, fucking kill yourself, you dumb ugly bitch. They can't say that on TikTok because they're commenting.
Say what you really mean. Say what you really mean.
I'm like, yeah, let's see who's really hateful here, because you still don't see me saying that. I've never said. I'm like, all these people who think I'm hateful, I'm like, dig up one DM or one comment I've ever left where I've even said so much as "you're ugly" or any. I'm not even a hateful person at all, but they'll say the most vicious, hateful, vile shit, and it just blows my mind.
But on Instagram, you can also bring people on, and it's like, so like, it's like, oh, cool. you're really gully, like you talking all this hard shit in my comments about your political shit and that I'm racist and shit like that. Okay, come on live right now, and we'll see what you got to say.
I do want to do more of that. I had gone on a live stream on Instagram, and then all my fans were like, come on, let me on. And then one day I tried it out, and I was like going to let them on, but I was like, dude, I'm terrified some like 15-year-old kid is going to come on and pull his dick out or something. And I'm going to be like, I don't know. I don't like this. Yeah. So it's like, I have to know who you are before I'm going to bring you on. And that's kind of what I want to do with this is like bring people when there's disagreements or there's something that you need to flesh out more. I'm thinking about all these people, you know, once Papa Gut got canceled and even though he's back, it's just a wake up call of like, none of us are really safe. And we're building this community where we all have our perspectives and a lot of us are becoming friends on TikTok. But if we all band together and create a platform where we can flesh these things out more and have our audience kind of all back us up in a way where we don't necessarily need TikTok, that's kind of what I want to do. And I think this is a great way to bring people on, whether I agree or disagree, and then just try to build this out as a more stable community, regardless of what happens with TikTok.
Facts, it's been awesome.
Yeah, dude. So thanks for coming on because this is all a trial run. I'm recording it. I'm running it through my podcast studio. I have no clue if it was going to work or how it's going to turn out. So I needed a guinea pig and you're guest number one.
No worries, man. No worries, dude.
Do you want to shout anybody out or like shout any of your socials out, or what do you want people to follow you if they don't know you already? Just follow you on TikTok?
Yeah, man. So any platform that you are on, if you just search for Tyler Bluntman. If I pop up, I'm there. If I'm not on that platform. But I'm heavy on TikTok at Tyler Bluntman, heavy on Instagram at Tyler Bluntman. So definitely follow me there. I do some triggering shit. I'm not as goated as Nick Foster. I'm not as goated as Nick Foster yet. Yeah, but when I get there, I will take on the persona of Nick Foster. So.
I like you see what you say. I have a joke about that I'm working on. I'm gonna post it eventually. I'm sure everybody's gonna appreciate it. I'm not gonna get any hate whatsoever.
Oh, of course, none.
Are you on Twitter at all? I tried looking at you on there. You're not.
I'm not on Twitter, dude. I think I missed that though. I think I missed that train.
The thing is, I was on there since 2009 and I had no following. Nothing. I tweeted for 12 years now. 11 years. No clout. And now I'm getting clout. You could jump on there right now and probably build yourself up.
I have heard that I'm on Black Twitter, and apparently with Black Twitter, like people send you to Black Twitter, like to try and just like, I guess like dox you. Ruin your life. So apparently I am on Black Twitter.
Yeah, that's cool. Well, you should get on there. I think it's a great place to troll about politics because it's all the political people. And you can even like troll people like Hillary Clinton, like right to her, face. Tweets, whatever.
Yeah.
Anyways,
check that out, man.
All right, guys. So follow Tyler. This was a good first run, and I hope to do more of it, and we'll get some more guests. I have no idea what the name of the show is yet, but I will figure it out, and I will send you the link when I do. And obviously, follow me on TikTok at Nick Foster Jokes and Twitter, Nick Foster Jokes, and Instagram, Nick Makes Jokes. So yeah, Tyler, thanks for coming on, man. This was good. This was fun, and we'll talk more soon. All right, man. Peace.
See ya.